Today we're going to be dividing polynomials. So first let's review dividing with long division. The divisor is what you divide by. So if we look in here, 3 is our divisor because that's what we're dividing by. The dividend is what's being divided. And that is 48. Our quotient is the solution. So our solution in this case would be 16. So let's do some long division practice. So we say 13 is dividing 490. We know that 13 goes into 49 3 times. So 3 times 13 is 39. So if we subtract, we're left with 10. Bring down our 0. 13 goes into 100 7 times. 7 times 13 is 91. So if we subtract those two, we're left with 9. So our solution, our quotient, is 37 with the remainder of 9. So let's look at this one. We have 6 as our divisor, and we're dividing by our dividend of 3,810. 6 goes into 38 6 times, because I know 36, or 6 times 6 is 36. So if it's 2, drop down to 1. 6 goes into 21 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. 21 minus 18, we're left with a 3. Drop down to 0, and I know that 6 goes into 35 times. 6 times 5 is 30. So when we subtract, we're left with 0. So our quotient is just 635. So now let's look at dividing polynomials using long division. So first let's set up our divisor is x minus 3. Our dividend is x squared plus 3x minus 12. So our first step is to divide our first term of our dividend by our first term of our divisor. X squared times, or divided by x, is just an x. So then our second step is to multiply what we got by our divisor. So x squared minus 3x. And we change our sign, so we're subtracting. So these become 0. Left with a 6x. Bring down our negative 12. So let's start that process over again. Our first term now in our dividend is 6x divided by the first term in our divisor, which is x. 6x divided by x is 6. So we put our plus 6. So then we divide what we got when we divide, or multiply, so 6 times x minus 3. So we get 6x minus 18. 6x minus 18. Change our signs. 0, negative 12 plus 18 is 6. So we know our quotient is x plus 6 with a remainder of 6. So let's look at this next one. Divisor is x plus 2. Our dividend is x cubed minus 4x squared plus 3x plus 2. So to start, our first term of our dividend is x cubed, and we're dividing by our first term of our divisor, which is x. X cubed divided by x is x squared. So then we multiply x squared times by the x plus 2. So x cubed plus 2x squared. Change our signs. So x cubed minus x cubed is 0. Negative 4x squared minus 2x squared is negative 6x squared. Drop down our positive 3x. Start the process over again. Negative 6x squared is our first term in our dividend now, divided by x equals a negative 6x. Now we can multiply. Negative 6x times by x plus 2. So negative 6x squared minus 12x. Change our signs. 0, 3x plus 12x is 15x. Drop down our positive 2. And last time, 15x is now our first term in our dividend, divided by our first term in our divisor, which is x. 15x divided by x is 15. So we have plus 15. Now we multiply 15 times by our x plus 2. So we end up with 15x plus 30. 15x plus 30. Let's change our signs. 15x minus 15x is 0. 2 minus 30 is a negative 28. So our quotient is x squared minus 6x plus 15 with a remainder of negative 28. Alright, let's look at the back side. Now instead of using long division, we'll be looking at synthetic division. So in synthetic division, we set it up. Here's our divisor, so it's a plus 1, so we're going to write minus 1. Then we're going to write in all of our coefficients. So we have a 3, negative 4, 2, negative 1. Then we bring down our first coefficient of 3, multiply negative 1 times 3, which is a negative 3. Add these two to get negative 7. Multiply these two, which is negative 1 times negative 7, which is a positive 7. 2 plus 7 is 9. Negative 1 times 9 is a negative 9. Negative 1 minus 9 is a negative 10. So we're left with 3. Since we started with x cubed, it's going to be x squared minus 7x plus 9. And we have a remainder of negative 10. So let's look at this process again. We are going to put a positive 3, and our quotients are 5, negative 6, 4, negative 1. Drop down our 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Negative 6 plus 15 is 9. 3 times 9 is 27. 4 plus 27 is 31. 3 times 31 is 93. Negative 1 plus 93 is 92. So we're going to have 5. We started with x cubed, so it's x squared plus 9x plus 31, and we have a remainder of 92. So now let's look and determine if x plus 2 is a factor of both of these. So to do that, we're going to use synthetic division again. So if we have x plus 2, we're going to have a negative 2. Coefficients are 1, 10, and 16. So drop down a 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. 10 minus 2 is 8. Negative 2 times 8 is a negative 16. 16 minus 16 is 0. So this is a factor because we have a remainder of 0. So for the second one, negative 2, coefficients are 1, 7, negative 5, and negative 6. Bring down our 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. 7 minus 2 is 5. Negative 2 times 5 is a negative 10. Negative 5 minus 10 is a negative 15. Negative 2 times a negative 15 is a positive 30. Negative 6 plus 30 is a positive 24. So since our remainder is a positive 24, it's not a factor because it does not equal 0. The remainder theorem states that if a polynomial p of x is divided by x minus a, where a is a constant, then the remainder is p of a. So let's take a look at this. If we have negative 1, we are going to put a negative 1 inside of our box. So then we have 2, 6, negative 5, 0, and negative 60. Plugging that 0 in because we have to make sure we have all of our terms. 4, 3, 2, we're missing our x. So if you drop down our 2, 1 times negative 2 is a negative 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. 1 times 4 is a negative 4. So we have a negative 9. Negative 1 minus 9, or negative 1 times a negative 9 is a positive 9. Negative 1 times 9 is a negative 9. So we end up with negative 69. So that's going to be our answer, our remainder. So let's try this one. We have a 3, then we have 1, negative 2. We're missing our squared term, so it's 0, 1, then a negative 9. So we drop down our 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Negative 2 plus 3 is a positive 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 0 plus 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 1 plus 9 is 10. 3 times 10 is 30. Negative 9 plus 30 is a positive 21. So that is our remainder.